the Ten Commandments, man, it feels like we're going fast, but we're doing one commandment at a time. Today we're in the fourth commandment. We're in commandment number 4. And to recap, I've been going back every weekend. The first commandment is never have any other gods. Never have any other gods. The second commandment is never make your own carved idols, statues that represent any creature in the sky or on earth or in the water. Verse 5, never worship them or serve them, because remember, I, the Lord your God, I am a God who does not tolerate rivals. In other words, he's a jealous God. I punish children for their parents' sin to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me. I punish children for their parents' sin to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me. But I show mercy to thousands of generations of those who love and obey me. I show mercy to thousands of generations to those who love and obey my commandments. And then the third commandment, he just simply said, never use the name of the Lord your God carelessly. The Lord will make sure that anyone who carelessly uses his name will be punished. The Lord will make sure that anyone who carelessly uses his name will be punished. Well, today we're finna dive into the fourth commandment. And this is one of those commandments that, and if you notice the first 3 commandments, God really focused on God. He really hadn't gotten into us as an individual or us person. He's focusing on, I'm the it factor. I'm the numero uno. And anything after me or anything that you put before me, you got to be punished for. That's pretty much what he's saying. And when you think about, when you ask yourself, what is the 10 Commandments? And we've done this each week. The 10 Commandments is the will of God for man. And pretty much it simply just says, these are it. These are the rules and regulations that's really simple, that's really uneducated for Christians to just follow. I mean, he's really just made this so easy. But as a church, we've ripped these commandments apart. We've literally just destroyed pretty much all of them. We got adultery at a high in the church. We got murderers in the church. And sometimes murderers, when we get to that, you're going to see, it may not mean the flesh of death, but we got that going on. We got all kinds of sin going on. We got all kinds of people that's just lying in the church. And we know we're naturally going to lie. But we got people that's doing it in the name of the church. So when we look at these commandments, really, the outside world lifts up these commandments more than the church world. There's people on the outside that can recite these commandments and can probably give you the parable verses to go with these commandments more than Christians can. Or saved Christians. Or those who claim to have a religion. Of course, they don't have a relationship. And we just don't understand sometimes. And even sometimes I may slip and fall. But we need to have a solid base. We need to have a home. We need to have friends. We need to have loved ones. We need to have buddies and hang out people that we can just simply just pick up the phone or just do whatever and just say, you know what, I'm having a moment. Because that's what these commandments is about. Is you're going to have a moment. There's only been one perfect person, so the rest of us are going to fall into the trap and the sins of these commandments. And basically all God is saying is, for the will of me, don't go through it alone. Don't be by yourself. And as we look at today, as we look at the fourth commandment in Exodus 20, verses 4 through 8, as we look at the fourth commandment, Exodus 20, verses 8 through 11. Verses 8 through 11, chapter 20, it just simply says in verse 8, it says, remember the day of worship by observing it as a holy day. You have 6 days to do all your work. Verse 9, you have 6 days to do all your work. Verse 10, the seventh day is the day of the worship dedicated to the Lord your God. Your sons, your daughters, your male and female slaves, your cattle, and the foreigners living in your city must never do any work on that day. I like it when he says your sons, your daughters, your male and female slaves. He even says your cattle. I don't see people out there marching no horses to church this morning. I don't see that. And then he says, and the foreigners living in your city must never do any work on that day. Verse 11, in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and earth and the sea along with everything in them. He didn't work on the seventh day. That's why the Lord blessed the day. He stopped his work and he set this day apart as holy. He set this day separately apart as holy. And if you think about it, God really is the first example of what we should be. I mean, he did. It's almost like he practiced what he preached. He literally did what he said for us to do. He got out here and he created this whole top, bottom, round, however you want to add it up. The earth, the sea, the darkness, the nightness, the stars, the animals, the little roof powwows, the chickens. I mean, he just literally just went to work. And it's almost like us, he got tired. He said, you know what? I'm pooped. I done worked hard. I done provided a way for these people. I done given them a vision. I've given them a land. I've given them soil to crop. I've given them trees to plant. I've given them horses. I've given them mule to plow the field. I've given them everything. He's provided for us, which is his family. We're his offspring. So he did what we did. We get out, we go to work every day to provide for our family. And then all he simply says, all I'm asking for out of 7 days is 1 day, you and your family come worship me and just hang out and have a good time. And just relax. Just take the day off. Just watch football with you and some friends. Just watch the NASCAR with you and your friends. Just get out and endure the sunshine. I'm giving y'all this beautiful weather that I created, and all I'm asking y'all to do is take a break. That's really what he's saying. Just take a break. Just chill. You know, just have a good time. I mean, it's fall, and he's saying, who's creating this weather that we're having? God. And why? So that we can relax. You've worked 6 hard days. If you're like me, you've really worked these days. You've given everything you get. Honestly, you should be tired today. And that's what God is saying. Take a break. Relax from it all. And if you look in Hebrews 4:4, Hebrews chapter 4, verse 4, it says, somewhere in the scripture, God has said this about the 7th day. On the 7th day, God rested from all his work. Somewhere in the scripture. Now, if you're a Calvary Chapel, you should know where that scripture is. Because we are verse by verse expository teaching. So that scripture should be what? In Genesis. Because we started in Genesis. And of course it's in chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. It's in chapter 2, verses 1 through, and I'm just giving that to y'all, but you know, I'm gonna read that for y'all so y'all can see what God is saying. It says in chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, it says, heaven and earth and everything in them were finished. In other words, God completed his task. It says in verse 2, by the 7th day, God had finished the work he had been doing. On the 7th day, he what? Stopped the work he had been doing. Then in verse 3 it says, then God blessed the 7th day, set it apart. In other words, he divided it separately, set it apart as what? Holy. Why? Because on that day he stopped all his work of the creation. In other words, God was so blessed. And if you know anything about God's creation, he said what? I created the stars and the earth, and it is done. I created man, and it is finished. In other words, he blessed everything that he had already done. So now God is saying, I've created it all. He said, I'm finished with all of it. All my creations come to a stop. Now on this day, and I love the fact that you think about it, he didn't really have to make this a commandment. But if you churched, This is almost commandment number 2 compared to commandment number 1, which was last week. Because we've created this image of God. We've destroyed what an image of God is. We've almost just blasphemed his name.